This is going to be a regulator for my AT44 QE long. So I do have the long tube. I did choose the Huma air regulator for it. There was the choice of lane or even the Hatsan one. I did all my research. Found the Hatsan one to be limited on adjustment and very low. So I just, from all the comments I've read and people using it, I just chose to stay away from that. I didn't choose the lane regulator, and I chose the Huma for, well, two reasons. This was a little more expensive. I think the lane regulator is like $85. This was like $120. The benefit is I am still new to PCP, but I'm doing my research and homework. You need to drill a hole with the lane regulator in here. Once that hole is drilled, you have to keep the regulator in. With the Huma, you do not have to drill a hole. There are two ways to vent this, and I'll go over that with you. Degassing tool, I've already had this apart. I degassed it first. Put this on, screw it all the way on. There's an Allen head there. You turn it slowly till all the gas is out, and then just push this in. Make sure there is no more air left. Alright, let me do a quick, I just had the wrench for this, had being the key word, and this was a little tough to get out. See, like I can hold it by hand and turn it out, but what I actually had to do was take the fill port, where are you? And I just by chance, I had to put this on the ground. I had to, actually this is a tube, but it fit very well. Gently slid this in here, put this on the ground, and actually had to put a wrench to crack this loose. No damage here though, I was very careful. But yours may be the same way, so don't freak out if you can't just hold it and do it by hand. I don't know if I also, but I marked this for a reason. I'll get to that in a little bit. I really haven't seen too many good videos on this. I'm actually surprised I have not. There's two ways to doing this. Venting this, I should say. Okay, I started off, there was all kinds of gunk and, well, not gunk, silicone, grease, whatnot. And what you have to do, no matter what, the O-ring that is here has to come off so it can vent. Took that off. Now, you can put the regulator in. Oh, yeah, let me just explain a little something about this because this confused me and I had to do my own research. There's a screw right up here on top. Obviously it comes out. This does not stay in there. Oops. This is just like to help it, I don't know, hold it or whatever I believe I read, but this does not stay in there. Maybe from getting damaged. This installs after you add silicone grease. This goes in. They also give you this O-ring, which must be installed. And what this does, this fills with air, there's your pocket, and this sits against that O-ring. So it'll be inside there, just like that. Obviously add silicone down here, remove this O-ring. Now, here's the two ways you can vent it. You can install the regulator and install there, and once it's tight, you back it off just a little bit so the air can vent through here. And once this builds pressure, the threads and everything, it will seal and it'll hold it tight, so you don't have to worry about this coming loose once there's pressure in there. If you lose complete pressure, this might unscrew on you once it's in the gun, so don't degas the whole thing while it's in the gun. And on the instructions, and as everyone else said, you take a diamond file. I've already marked this. Here's my mark. And what you do is just put a cut in the grooves. Nothing too severe, but just a cut in the grooves. Lined up with this, so the air can travel through the grooves and come out the top. Now, I also, once it was tight, I marked this. You also put just a little nick, a groove, in here with the diamond-shaped file. And once that's tight, it'll line up with this. It will line up with this and be able to vent the air, and which will be in line. Now, all you need to do is throw that O-ring back in, take out the regulator, and you're good as gold, and it seals properly. So I chose this method. I'm actually going to try backing it off. I think they said a paper width, so not very much at all. So I'm going to try that first. I have my regulator, which I'm going to try because it's a 22. I have it set for, all right, where is it? 145. So I'm going to try 145 with 18 grain. I'm going to see where that leaves me. I still want to keep the power, but I do want a good shot count, and I do want accuracy. And that was the only thing with the open unregulated. It wasn't that great for the first 10 shots, but the next 10 shots were like pretty good. And unfortunately, the pressure would rise and drop, and accuracy, I'm a little picky on that, so I do want the accuracy, and that's why I also did get this. I do shoot 100 yards. I might back it off just for this gun, but I'm going to experiment and see where it leaves me. But the first time, I am going to try not notching this out, and I'm just going to back it off. It goes in this way also, and you have to make sure that O-ring is seated properly. But I'm going to back it off first, but I think the best bet after I readjust this, empty it out again, I'm going to put the notch in there. I'm going to just groove the threads here just so it can vent, and I think that's my best bet, and that way I know it's tight. And but just for experimentation before I go grooving it, which is no big deal to me, but other people might be like, I don't really want to do that. So I just had my silicone wherever there it is. So I'm going to put a little silicone on here. Make sure it goes in nice. I already checked the tube. I made sure the tube has to be clean, dry. You don't want anything getting caught up in here. So not too much silicone, but enough to make it ease of installment. Sorry, trying to do this. I'm not seeing where the camera is. So we drop this in here. Gently, firmly. I'm sure once I do this a few times, I'll get the hang of it. There we go. But just work it back. It's got to go past the threads. Okay, beautiful. I do not really like putting the tube just on marble, so we'll do that. Grab a little more silicone. Now that, there we go. Okay. Now that there's a cut lip in here, this is where this goes. Making sure it seats properly, because this is what seals it up. Okay. Okay, that is good. So I mean, this really is like a 10-minute job if you're just going to back it off that paper thickness. I mean, another 5 minutes really just to slot it, maybe 10 minutes. So a 20-minute job if you wanted to V out the threads. But just hasn't been any good videos on this, so I really just wanted to do this and so everyone else can see and not have to actually read tons and tons of articles. I insist you do, though, no matter what. I always not just go by one person's word, but that's what doing research is you want to hear everybody's opinion. See, with this tight, it lines back up with my mark. And that's what I'll do probably after is I'll V it out and just put a little notch right here so it can vent. Now, I'm just going to back it off. Paper here. Okay. There's not even a real wiggle there. So, regulator's in. It's set for 145. They said it will leak a little when you're first doing this until that inner O-ring builds pressure. Luckily, I do have a scuba tank, and at least it'll get me up to 100 bar first, and then I can hand pump the rest because the tank's almost empty. And you want to check for any leaks after too. Once you get it up to 200 bar, check everything, make sure everything is good. I'd like to, this is a little dry, so I'm going to throw a little more silicone on here just when I go to install it. Oh, and they say with the gap, if you do this outside the gun, you won't have a problem with it tightening. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this on the outside of the gun before I install it. And they said a hand pump will work, just don't install it in the gun. Fill the tube separately from the gun. So, I'm going to give this a try. Oops, wrong way. Alright, so I hope this helps anybody out. Going to make another video after this. I'm going to take it to work tomorrow. Do some shooting. I'll bring my chrony with me. Actually, I'll probably do a little chrony testing probably in a little while once I get it up to 200 bar. See how it performs, see what the spread is. So, I'm hoping nothing more than 6 on the spread. And I will be more than happy. Less than that, I'll even be more thrilled. But just to see where I am on FPS with 18s, because that's pretty much what I like to use on this. And so, but whatever gives me the best results. I would like to put some 21s in here. I do like the H&N. Where are they? Barracudas. Oh, these are the Barracuda match with 21 grains. This I don't think I'm going to use regulated. So eventually I'm going to buy another tube, and that will just be for my unregulated, and I will just be using the Barracuda match in those. Won't get as many shots, but they're going to be hard hitting, so at least 40 foot-pound of energy. I'm hoping somewhere's around there. I think I did test these before. I was about 39, 40, so that'll be a good 40, 50 yard hunting gun, so take whatever I want out. And I think that's it for tonight, and I'll let you guys know how this turns out. And honestly, I am pretty thrilled about this. So I'm new to the PCP, and I find it very simple, and really, if you do your homework, you have a good understanding of everything. Oh, here's the instructions. So you just get the barcode reader on your phone, and or you can even find it online. I just looked it up and clicked on it. So, but either way, I'll let you guys know how this turns out, and till then, have a good one.